I believe that we are very close to the end of Windows operating system. It is because Linux has gained much more popularity in terms of features, in terms of reliability, in terms of I'll call it popularity. So first of all, let me classify Linux into three basic types. There are hundreds of them. You can go to the Wikipedia and check the complete list. But let's talk about the minimum basics. The most common one, which you already know, is Android Linux, which you are already using on mobile. Then Red Hat family has got many derivatives. SUSE Linux has a lot of similarities with the Red Hat. Fedora Linux, Oracle Linux, and CentOS, they were again derived from Red Hat only. Then Debian has got many further derivatives. Linux Mint, Boss Linux, Ubuntu. Ubuntu has further hundreds of derivatives. Kali Linux, Parrot Linux. So today I'll be doing some real life experiments to compare the minimum hardware requirements and I'll call it the working mechanism and the functionalities of Windows and Linux. And I'll just conclude that how Linux is much more better than Windows. So let us start from the step one. First of all, let me talk about the hardware requirements. You already know that Windows will not work on old processors. Windows need minimum 8 core processor and 16 GB of RAM, which is even higher than Apple iOS. You can just go to the website of Apple and find out that they have got systems which are even running on 5 core, 6 core processors and 8 GB of RAM. But coming back to the Linux, now this is Boss Linux. It has got system requirements of minimum 2 GB of RAM, 15 GB of hard disk, and 1 gigahertz of Pentium processor, which is still less than Windows. Then this is Fedora Linux. It has got minimum hardware requirements of 2 gigahertz dual core processor, 2 GB of RAM, and 15 GB unallocated drive space, which is again lightweight as compared to Windows. I'm comparing Windows 11 Home Minimum Basic Edition. Okay, it's only the starting of the fun part. Then I go to the website of Parrot Linux. So it is asking for 1 GB of RAM, dual core CPU, weight 2 less than Windows, much more lightweight than Windows, 16 GB is of available storage, almost comparable to Windows. Okay. First factor was the minimum hardware requirements. Here Windows has gone down. Okay. So let's talk about the pricing. You already know that Linux is free, but if you compare that with Windows, or at least it is cheaper than Linux is cheaper than Windows. Okay, even the Red Hat Fedora will sorry the Red Hat I'm sorry Red Hat will start from minimum $50 per year, but Windows Data Center $6,155. Windows what is that? Okay, server, yeah. Standard has got $1,069. Essentials has got a minimum cost of $501. Okay, and here again I want to show you something from the website of Microsoft itself. Okay, so it is asking for a price of 7,999. I don't know whether it is inclusive or exclusive of GST, and for the home version, and 14,999 for the pro version. Again, they have not mentioned whether it is inclusive of GST or exclusive of GST. Okay, or whatever local taxes. Okay, so that was the first second, I'll call it the second reason why I want to shut down using Windows was that it is costly. The third thing is about the features. Okay, now you must be having a lot of questions that Linux is free. Will it be able to compete? Will it be able to work on it and all that stuff? Okay, so let me answer your questions. Okay, so first of all, with me is the starting up because I'm using two virtual boxes at the same time. So yes, it has gone little slow. So here I've got the Parrot Linux with me. So Parrot Linux, if I go to the applications, okay, so it has to start up. Okay, so it has got almost anything and everything which Windows can do. It has got anonymous surfacing. It has got cryptographic tools. Okay, it has got Office features like. Let me tell you one thing. I have done real life experiments. If you compare Windows Office with LibreOffice or Apache Office or Open Office, you will find very less differences in capability. Internet, I think this you already know. Firefox, you know already about Tor, anonymous browsing, and all that stuff, but don't attempt it. Okay, there are reasons why you should avoid attempting it. Okay, then graphics. Okay, now here comes the fun part. GNU image. Okay, and sound and video. I think VLC player should be here. Yeah, it is there. Games. chess is there. Then programming, I think it supports many programming languages: C, C++, Java. Okay, you already know the list. You already know PHP. You already know Python. And okay, that's called an overload. I need to shut one system. Okay. Okay, so here I have got accessories, okay, and universal access, okay. Okay, so here it was, okay. I just go to file. Okay, here are the languages which you will get by default factory fitted on Parrot Linux. They are PHP, Ruby, HTML. This is LaTeX, okay, and this is C, C++, Java, Python, okay, okay. So let me just shut it off, okay, and so I think I have a system overload. So I'll just try to shut down the internet to so-called reduce the hardware consumption. Okay, this Fedora is still starting up. Okay, so by the time what I do is that I try to uh, go to another parameter. It is regarding the updates because you already know that in Windows the updates are very time consuming. They generally take 5 minutes minimum. 5 to 10 minutes is the average. You must be wondering how tough it is in Linux. It's not at all tough. Okay, you just have to go to the terminal. You can use your system while it is live. Okay, so I think this should work. Zoom in. This is what I was looking in. Okay, Control plus plus. Okay, so you don't have to restart and do all that annoying stuff once you are updating your system. Okay, so the command is sudo PARROTUPGRADE. This should work. Okay, so as you can see, while it is updating, I am still able to use my system. I don't have to just block off the things and all do all that restart annoying. I'm sorry to repeat. Okay, and okay, that's all for the Parrot Linux. I think I can shut it down. But yes, there are many editions of Parrot Linux or even Boss Linux is there, which is way too lightweight. It just consumes 1 GB or 2 GB, depending on the editions of download, which is again very much lightweight than Windows. And interesting fact is that Boss Linux was designed for anonymity. I have it with me just now. I downloaded it. Okay, so but anyways, coming back to this Parrot Linux. Okay, let's not get confused. Okay, so yes, it is still updating, and just take a look at the time. It is noting also in terms of seconds, not in terms of minutes. So it is way more lightweight than Windows update and much better than Windows in terms of features. So let me just close it for a while just to save some hardware resources. It's getting overloaded now. Okay, here you are, Fedora. This should work up. Should I restart this machine or what? I think I should restart it. Just go to overload it. Okay, so this is the scientific edition of Fedora, which is way more interesting. I'll tell you personally. I'm telling you, it's seriously interesting. Okay. The fun fact is that a few days back I was just doing chatting with one of the employees of Microsoft on their website, and the interesting fact is that Microsoft itself is using Linux for their own internal working. That's interesting. Okay, let me try to save further hardware resources. Okay. It should have worked. Okay, anyways, today let me teach you how to create a new virtual machine. So I just close everything and power off the machine. So let's start from scratch. I delete it, delete all files. I just go to new. Okay, name is scientific Linux. Okay, science. Okay, folder is okay. The folder is Fedora. Okay, here it is Fedora. I have just changed the folder name just to avoid any sort of unnecessary confusions. Because I wanted to avoid using keywords. So here is the ISO image. Yes, okay. So I just delete all that files just to avoid memory overload. Okay, this should work. Okay. Unattended shell hardware. So this is how you have to generate a new virtual machine or a virtual computer. Okay, so create a virtual hard disk now. Okay. This is a dynamically, I'll call it, because I'm not clicking on this, so it is a dynamically allocated hard disk. Okay, so I just start this virtual machine. I think this should work up now. So the interesting fact is that I've told you that there are three main areas where Linux is much better than Windows: cost, the hardware requirements, and the features. Features I'll give you another live sample demo of this Fedora also. Parrot Linux I've already given you, because what I've found is that in Windows I have not seen any new technological innovation since 2016. Okay, in 2016 they came up with Windows 10. They came up with this Microsoft Edge, and they came up with this Paint 3D. Okay, and they also came up with this Microsoft Contara, or I'll call it Microsoft AI based search. But that was 2016. I mean, we are in 2023, so come on, guys, give some competition. Okay, it's loading up or not? What is stopping it? Virtual box, virtual machine. This should have worked by now. And another interesting fact which goes against the use of Windows is that most of the supercomputers in the world are using Linux. The top five computers in the world, sorry, top 500, the top 500 most powerful supercomputers in the world, they are using Linux. They are not using Windows. Okay, and yeah, so okay, and that's all, because Microsoft has already lost the ground when it comes to the mobile market. Because yes, they did have a Windows edition for the mobile phones, but Linux gave them a very serious competition. Let me tell you one thing. Today, only we have got Apple iOS, or we have got Android, which are the so-called live operating systems when it comes to the mobile market. So this is another popular addition of Linux, which is a derivative of Red Hat, which I've already told you. Fedora. So Fedora has got many features which are not available when it comes to Windows. Okay, yes, you can install them manually. Yeah, well, you can do it, but that's another challenge. I mean, just going to their website, downloading, repairing. I mean, because repairing a system is another big challenge when it comes to the Windows. Okay, so I just go to Fedora, Fedora, Fedora Labs. Okay, so they have got a different operating system for astronomy. They have got different operating system for simulation of brain. This was interesting. They have a different operating system for doing something really creative. They did have yeah. This is for musicians. This is for all the inbuilt Python libraries. If you are very interested in Python, this is for security testing and backtracking. Okay, robotic suite if you want to work on some sort of hardware design of robotics or programming of robotics. Again, it is very much dependent on Python only. Scientific, this I'll be doing live demonstration with a practical today. Okay, so here you are, astronomy. It has got all the different tools: Astropy, K-Star, Celestia, Virtual Planet, Serial, Indy, GIMP, Redshift, Astromatic. You can work on these tools on Windows operating system also, but the problem which I've already told you is about installing, downloading, and spending complete big few hours on that. Okay, then these are the neuron brain. These are the tools for neurology simulation and all that. SkyPy, again, this is based on Python. I mean, just take any latest software which is based upon Linux, you will find Python on that. Okay, Okay, then we have got design suite. These are the good free open source stuff which are available on Linux, but I'll call it ready-made available on Linux. You have to install them manually when it comes to the Windows. Okay, and games. I'll not discuss much about it. Okay, music. Then you have got these are the many important tools for working on music. Okay, so another problem with Windows is that it is an closed source operating system. It is not an open source operating system. You cannot customize it. You cannot freely distribute it. And this is a very common fact, and this surely puts I'll call it a problem when it comes to the security, because there were many researches which say that Linux is far more secure because it has been widely tested, it has been widely used, it has been widely debugged. Okay, so come up. Okay. Okay, this is the security lab. It gives you EtherApe, EtherCap, Medusa, Nmap, Scamp, Scafish, Wirescar, SQL Ninja. So it gives you all the very interesting security testing tools. Okay, so I'll just close it up here. And robotics, which I've already told you, it is Python based only. Okay, so this should have worked by now. Let me free up some hardware just to make it faster. Okay, so what's consuming it? Task Manager 19%. Just look at the hardware usage of Windows. Come on, it's okay. Here you are. It has almost started up. Limited connectivity. I don't need it anyways. Okay. Okay. So I'll tell you the factory fitted features in Fedora, which will give you a lot of frustration when it comes to the Windows. First of all, let me start with the programming, which is a very common topic. Okay, so first of all, let me open up the console of it. So I just go to the console and let me test which are the inbuilt programming language which is already there, and surely you will be investing some time on Windows on downloading and installing and going to the control panel and setting up the annoying path. Okay, it's coming up. It is slow because I'm working on two systems at the same time. Okay, Java C, that stands for Java compiler. First of all, just let me make it large for you so that it is easy. Okay, large font. Okay, that is Control plus plus. Yeah, it's same. It was same on Parrot Linux and Fedora Linux also. So the advantage with Linux is that you will get a different Linux for almost every different kind of a work. Okay, so and you don't get locked in some sort of a vendor deadlock and all that. Okay. So this is the command to test whether Java is successfully working or not. That is Java C. Okay, and I pressed enter, so I'm just waiting for the output. By the time I make it set font size. Okay. So if I have to test the version of it, then I have to type Java minus version. Okay, so here also I'll just make it large. Okay. Okay, so I think it has worked up. I'm getting the proper output, and after testing, it is saying that yes, Java is properly installed on it. Let me execute it again for your clarity. Okay, so I just close it again for now. Okay, and I try to enlarge the font with Control plus plus. Okay, so the version is JDK version. It is 17.6. That is January 2023. And as you can already see, it is showing Red Hat Linux. Okay, so first of all, now let me talk about the Python because that is also inbuilt installed it. So that is Python. I hope you can see that. So let me try to make it further large for you. Control plus plus. Okay. Sometimes it does get annoying. Okay, so okay, so the Python. This one is okay. I think it is latest edition or it is 3.11 something. Yeah, 3.11.2 version of Python is there. Okay, so so let me just close it for a while and exit. So let me tell you about the other tools which makes Linux better than Windows development. Okay, this you already know. I think Firefox and all that. Okay, so it has got uh, uh, text editor. Okay, then it has got many libraries for Java. Then Qt, Spider. This is again Python based. For education, it has got this LibreOffice. I can see that LibreOffice Math. Okay, then for graphics, it has got very cool free open source GNU graphics tools, GNU image manipulation, Inkscape, Color Paint, LibreOffice Draw, which is much better than Microsoft Paint. Okay, then internet. I think you can create your own email server, your SMS server. Okay, you can create your own. You can also work on browser of your choice. Firefox is already there, but yes, you can install your own browser also. Office, I think you know this. Okay, science and math. No, this one is interesting. It has got programming languages like R. When it comes to the Office, it has got LaTeX, inbuilt LaTeX. Surely, I'll be giving you some live demo of it. But anyways, okay. And I think that's also. Let me start with the LaTeX over it. Okay, so TEX, which is the file extension of the LaTeX file. Okay, and yes, it has got many inbuilt libraries also, which make LaTeX fun to use. Okay, so that's all for today. But I think LaTeX is okay. Let me just give you some small demo of it. Okay, so LYX, this is a LaTeX based GUI editor. Okay, so here you can make live changes. So what you do, what you see, all that things can be seen live over here. It's starting up. By the time, let me check my hardware resources just to make it faster. Okay. The problem is that if you install LaTeX and LYX on Windows, there has to be a specific sequence. First you install MikTeX LaTeX, after that you install LYX, otherwise surely you will get some sort of a trouble. Okay, so I'm just waiting patiently for it to start. Okay. When coming back to the topic that why Linux is better than Windows, if you compare the evolution of Windows with Windows XP, with Windows Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 8.1, Windows 10, Windows 11, they have only done one thing, that is they have increased the hardware requirements. Earlier it was single core, today is octa core. Earlier it was minimum 256 megabyte of RAM. Today is minimum 8 GB, 16 GB of RAM. I don't see any new innovation respective of the hardware resources. You get the same thing. Okay, so okay, so science settings. I think it has its own inbuilt firewall. Also, I do remember it does have. I think.